Raspberry, create space. Raspberry is Rose's younger sister, sweet and wild, but also steady-handed. She loves the earth and its smallest creatures, so her ebullient branches twist and crawl, creating nests for birds and sanctuaries for snails. She'll rock wee babes and scurry about with toddlers, rarely giving in to the gravitas that permeates most members of her family. Laughter floats through her leaves as she flexes and twists. You too can be like this, she says, demonstrating pliability earned by drinking deeply of mineral-rich soil. Sit with her, and she'll share with you the secret of weaving space and creating strong containers for the emptiness that new life needs in order to thrive. When Raspberry appears, look to how you are, or aren't, nurturing space within. Ritual. Make space without. Nurturing space within yourself often begins with the physical space and a structured experience of it. That structured experience allows us to enjoy a regular ritual of reflection and holding space for new energy and ideas. Your structured space needn't be large or expensive to create. It simply needs to be yours. What might this look like? A special chair with a side table for tea and reflection? A corner in the garage or basement turned into an art studio? A bit of garden to plant as you wish? A clear spot on the top of the fridge where your altar is out of reach of tiny hands? You get your intuition back when you make space for it, when you stop the chattering of the rational mind. Anne Lamott, Bird by Bird. Reflection. Hold space within. We often don't make space for ourselves in our daily lives or create a structure that lets us grow and fully express our dreams. Before creating in the world, Raspberry teaches we must learn to hold space within. Is there room for you in your mind and heart, or are your thoughts filled with the needs and schedules of others? Do you have guilt or other toxic thoughts popping up when you contemplate claiming space, mental, physical, or emotional space for yourself? Are you fearful of taking up too much space, intellectually or physically? Picture your creative womb as a place of starlight or forest loam, of ocean waves or sunlit meadows. Use whatever metaphor speaks to you. Step into this internal landscape. Notice its natural edges, the place where the trees end or the ocean recedes. Trace these boundaries, affirming that you hold the space within sacred and safe. Red clover, center and ground. This commonly cultivated forage crop feeds horses, cows, sheep, goats, and just about anything else humans keep at pasture. She plants your feet on the ground, 2 or 4, it doesn't matter to her, while encouraging you to run a few miles or dive into that art project you've been avoiding. Red clover wants you to get moving, in body and in spirit. She loves grounded action and will happily bolster your courage. From the Latin word cor, which means heart. When you're acting from a strong center, so you can step out and move forward. Bold but not rash, red clover gets your blood up so you can show up fully. Ritual, grounded energy and flow. Grounded energy and flow might seem like an oxymoron, but this exercise will help you feel these two forces working hand in hand. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart, your arms held loosely at your sides, and your gaze focused gently forward. Imagine a string lifting you from the top of your head and two more pulling your feet toward the center of the earth. This is yoga's mountain pose, which will teach you the vitality of stillness. Now, add breath, inhaling all the way down to your belly and exhaling fully. This is flow. Finally, picture red clover calling her into your heart as you expand your energy. Storms make trees take deeper roots. Dolly Parton. Reflection. Counter reactivity. Often we deplete ourselves with underground bursts of energy, physical, mental, or emotional, instead of cultivating steady flow. Red Clover's gift is grounded action. She helps us harness our vitality so we can move forward with purpose. Review your past week. Can you think of any moments when you were overzealous, manic, frenzied, or overreactive? Maybe you overdid it on a hike. Perhaps you promised more than you could comfortably deliver to your boss or a friend. Maybe you felt a burst of impatience or even rage when the driver in the car in front of you slowed to a near stop before a right-hand turn. Or perhaps you were fuming behind your smile as the person ahead of you in the checkout line counted out $12.87 in loose change. Now, in contrast, think of a time when you acted from a grounded and centered place. That is, when you were present and measured in your action or response. Compare the feelings from these two opposite situations. Locate them in your physical body. How does it feel within you when you are grounded, centered, and purposeful? Look for patterns and then make a plan to keep yourself centered. Having a plan offers you an option other than reactivity. Red Fox, Shapeshift. Despite being a redhead, Fox understands the subtleties of camouflage. One moment she seems to be a small dog, the next a log, and then she'll move gracefully as a cat. In Asia, she's been seen wearing the face of a beautiful woman and sometimes of an old man. Fox is said to gain a tail as she masters her magic. A fox with 9 tails knows many things, including invisibility and the art of shapeshifting. Fox is a starlet turned spy, ready to stand out or blend in, and having the wisdom to know which is needed. Fox teaches that your exterior is an ever-changeable illusion. If she has appeared, see if it's time for a shift, or if perhaps someone is being shifty with you. Ritual. Energetic camouflage. Fox is at home slinking down a suburban street or running in the cornfields. She easily shapeshifts her exterior to blend into her environment. You can too. Energy follows intention. So begin reworking your energy signature by thinking about what's making you stand out from the background. Energetic pattern. Are you moving too fast or too slow? Are you being too loud or too quiet? Are you projecting meekness or confidence? To energetically camouflage yourself, you need to vibrate at the same frequency as the world around you, aligning energetically with your surroundings. Shapeshifting begins with changing your energy. Then you'll change the way you move your body to align with that new energy. Focus on the energy you're projecting and shift it with intention. If you're moving too fast, consciously decide to slow down. If you're being too meek, consciously decide to project confidence. This simple shift begins your energetic camouflage. Deepen the illusion by filling into the energy you've donned and letting your body move in sync with it. Play with energetic camouflage when you don't need it, so you've mastered this ritual for the times when you do. Reflection. The need to be seen. Fox has no ego attachment to being seen. She's perfectly happy to slink through the shadows and be mistaken for a dog or deer. Do you have attachment to being seen? To being known just as you are? Have you demanded others see you as you see yourself? Oftentimes we differentiate ourselves from others, especially our family, by highlighting our differences. Like Fox's "look at me red coat," this is one side of Fox's medicine coin. The other side is the ability to blend, to not be seen, to become invisible. Can you embrace both sides of this medicine and be both the starlet and the spy? She spent an astonishing amount of time in attending lectures and demonstrations and such like activities. It paid, she said. It was camouflage. If you kept the small rules, you could break the big ones. George Orwell, 1984. Red Salmon. Navigate life with determination. Quit griping and get going, quips Salmon. And she should know. Salmon swims thousands of miles undaunted by eagles, bears, and waterfalls. And just when she's at her weakest and most exhausted, her route turns mostly upstream. This isn't an accident. Salmon didn't get lost or find herself turned around. On the contrary, Salmon is one of the finest navigators to swim the 7 seas. She can always find her way home. Salmon will help you plumb the depths of your own unconscious to discover the energy and determination to get to your soul's destination. Call on Salmon to help you navigate life with determination, meaning, and purpose. Ritual. Reviving reciprocity. Salmon travels thousands of miles, first across the ocean and then upstream, steering by starlight and the subtle pull of magnetic fields to reach the hatching grounds where she was born. Fraught with danger, first in the ocean's depths where salmon is food for sharks, seals, and humans, and then on the river where she dodges eagles and bears, Salmon makes her way home. This journey is heroic, the final stages more so. Salmon, now accustomed to a seafood diet from years of ocean living, finds no food as she moves up the freshwater river. Her skin begins to dissolve. But determined, Salmon will complete her journey, spawning where she was hatched. Most likely, Salmon will die after laying her eggs. Her body will then leach phosphorus into the water, a necessary nutrient for the young salmon beginning the cycle again. Salmon teaches that you must give back to the river and the land which gave you life. For the next week, make daily gifts to the land or a river if you have one nearby. Maybe it's eggshells full of calcium, or seeds sprinkled for the birds. Maybe you'll offer mulch to your garden. Give back, and in giving back, remember what it's like to be part of the cycle of exchange. Reflection. Watery wisdom. In Ireland, they tell a tale in which a very ordinary salmon eats 9 hazelnuts that had fallen into the well of wisdom. After a dunk in the well, those hazelnuts contained all the knowledge in the world. After ingesting this rich feast, the salmon was not so ordinary anymore. The salmon of knowledge is the ultimate catch, the big kahuna. Spiritually, this is what we're all fishing for. Why do you think the ancient Irish connected salmon with the potential to become wise? Potential for wisdom is not the same as having it. How can you grow into your own wisdom? And what can salmon teach you about this process? Some of the native tribes in North America associate salmon with reincarnation and the cycles of renewal. Reishi, defying gravity. Reishi mushroom is the Yoda of the plant world, helping you assimilate life's experiences and turn them into wisdom. The Taoists teach that Reishi can show you where your power lies, which some might call your destiny. Reishi's not some soft, clingy mushroom, but instead a strong, structured, gravity-defying shelf. She asks no less from you. How can you defy anything keeping you from finding meaning, purpose, and health? Like all the best teachers, Reishi points to the path and lets you walk it, taking your lumps and bumps along the way. She doesn't want you to rely on her strength. She wants you to find your own. But if you're willing to do the work, Reishi will help you transform from the inside out. Ritual, write and burn. To find your path and step into your own power, you need to release whatever is no longer serving your highest good. If your home or workspace is full of stuff, call on Reishi energy and move along what you no longer need. Clutter, whether material or emotional, blocks you from stepping into your true work. If stale thoughts or ways of being need to be released, try this. Write down thoughts or emotions you want to be rid of. Don't worry about spelling or grammar or handwriting. Just write. When you feel emptied, take the paper and burn it to ash, setting the intention to fully release the thoughts and feelings that no longer serve you. Sprinkle the ashes on the earth or add them to the dirt in a potted plant, where the thoughts and feelings can be further broken down and composted. Reflection. Step into your superpower. Do you know where your power lies? What gives you strength and vitality? Oftentimes we think our superpower is the thing that makes those around us happy or comfortable. But Reishi knows that your gift, your strength, is the thing that makes you vital and alive. To be clear, Reishi doesn't care how you make your money. Your destiny may have nothing to do with how you pay your bills or your mortgage, but it has everything to do with how you feed your soul. We know what the world wants from us. We know we must decide whether to stay small, quiet, and uncomplicated, or allow ourselves to grow as big, loud, and complex as we were made to be. Glennon Doyle Melton, Love Warrior. River Otter, slide into joy. This fashionista of the waterways stays warm in her plush fur coat, and by wiggling and squiggling, generating heat with her ridiculously high metabolism. River Otter's inner fire is fueled by constant snacking on crayfish and crabs. The cynical might say she's joyful because she gets to eat all day and not gain an ounce. But River Otter knows that when you're lit from within, life provides endless amusement. Take that muddy riverbank, for instance, River Otter says. I see a water slide. Do you see it? River Otter reminds you to actively look for joy. She knows it's there waiting to be found. Ritual. Happiness past and present. Human brains are wired for survival, for noticing the obstacle in our path so we can find our way around it, which means we often remember the rough stuff but have to work more conscientiously to remember the good. You might be surprised at how much joy you've experienced in this past year. The trick is to begin to recognize it. List at least 30 happy moments that you are grateful for. Use your calendar to go month by month, remembering and noting achievements, reunions, lunches with friends, anything that made you smile. You're training your mind to recognize joy, and you might be surprised by how much you've had. To continue noticing joy in your daily life, keep a gratitude journal. Each evening, note at least 2 things that brought you joy over the course of the day. You don't have to create an entire journal entry. Just choose a few words to remind you of your own happiness. Gratitude shifts your perspective from lack to abundance and allows you to focus on the good in your life. Jen Sincero. Reflection. What's your energy spectrum? Sea otter is cousin to river otter, but her energy is different. While river otter is in constant motion, sea otter's motions are more leisurely. She spends a lot of time floating on her back. She'll groom her pup in this position, crack open mussels with a rock she keeps in a pouch under her arm, soak up a bit of sunshine, and even sleep, holding paws with other sea otters so they don't get separated. Yes, it is simply adorable. River otters and sea otter are joyful critters. Their differences teach us that any given energy has a full spectrum of expression. Sea otter expresses contented joy, while river otter has a more electric way of being. Sea otter tends to conserve energy, while river otter spends it with abandon. All emotions and actions exist on a spectrum. What spectrum are you working with in your life? Are you cruising from anger to elation? Are you dealing in shades of contentment or discontent? Do you swing from jealousy to generosity? Understanding the spectrum helps you see your daily actions and emotions in the larger context of your life and helps you gain the perspective to resolve them. Rose, crack open. Yes, that, Rose sighs as she contemplates Rainier Maria Rilke's take on relationships. Rose adores poetry, but despite popular belief, she simply can't countenance mushy love. Rose knows that to experience love in full, you need to be a strong vessel, while at the same time cracking open. A contradiction? No more a contradiction than flowers and thorns, murmurs Rose. Rose reminds you to embrace dualities and say both and instead of either or. Once the realization is accepted that even between the closest human beings infinite distance exists, a wonderful living side by side can grow. If they succeed in loving the distance between them, which makes it possible for each other to see the other whole against the sky. Rainier Maria Rilke, Letters to a Young Poet. Ritual. Wear your thorns. Like Rose, we have been cultivated for beauty. Male or female, we tend our appearance choosing clothing colors that complement our complexion, styling our hair, and adorning ourselves with jewelry or makeup. And, like hybrid roses, as we cultivate ourselves, it's easy to become rather thornless. Add a layer of thorns to your primping by incorporating a symbol of protection into your attire. Maybe it's a color that acts as a warning. In nature, bright red and black are warning colors. Think black leather jacket or red scarf. Maybe it's protective jewelry. Celtic cultures wore amber for protection, and some Native American tribes wore turquoise. If you have long hair, try adding hair sticks, symbolic weaponry, to your updo. Occasionally you can find hair sticks made from porcupine quills. You'll feel like Rose with your very own thorns. Notice how your awareness of these thorns makes it easier to walk the world with an open heart. Reflection. See yourself whole. Often we're much better at loving others than we are at loving ourselves. The reason for this, according to Rose, we're too close to ourselves and so are constantly examining our own minutiae. How to break the habit? Look at the big picture. What kind of friend are you? How do you care for, nurture, or protect the people you love? How do you care for, nurture, or protect yourself? What are you exponentially good at? If your soul had a color, what color would it be? When we can't see ourselves whole, we pick and pull at our tiny imperfections, turning them into gaping wounds and fatal flaws. Zoom back. See yourself whole against the sky. Rosemary, remembrance. Rosemary is the smell of déjà vu and the afterbreath of nostalgia. Her gift is the faint scent that teases and vanishes, leaving you longing for something you can't quite name, and with memories that crest and crash, pulling you grasping into their undertow. In Victorian times, Rosemary was said to say, "Remember me." This is but a small part of her magic. Rosemary can ease remembrance, softening sharp edges, or she can dredge the distant past, pulling on your DNA to bring forward the longings of lineage. Crush the leaves. Hold them to your nose. The past is encoded into our cellular memory. Rosemary whispers, "Sink into the knowledge that lives in your bones. Let memory rise up from your body, of your being." Ritual. Honoring ancestral memory. Rosemary's magic lies in her scent and the volatile oil hidden in her leaves. Science has affirmed that the smell of rosemary's essential oil enhances memory. Here's how it works. When you inhale rosemary, her vaporous oils cross through the mucous membranes in your nose and enter your bloodstream. Recall is significantly improved with rosemary flowing in your veins. You can get a good whiff of rosemary by crushing fresh leaves between your fingers or by rubbing a drop of rosemary essential oil between your palms. Then hold your hands over your nose and inhale for a few minutes. Notice how you feel. Remembering your lineage. Connect with your ancestral past through free writing. Here's how. Grab a notebook and set a timer for 10 minutes. Below is a prompt to start your writing. After you read it, begin writing and don't stop until your timer goes off. I can almost guarantee that you'll feel silly or lost or confused for at least the first 3 minutes. You'll feel like you're making things up or that you don't know what to write. Keep writing. At a certain point, your ego will step aside, and that is when the magic happens. Here's your writing prompt. Dear, insert name of ancestor. I'm working to deepen my ancestral ties. Is there anything you'd like to share with me? Now, start writing, answering in the voice of your ancestor. Reflection. You are made of memories. Rosemary whispers the memories of this lifetime, but she also reminds us of the kitchens of generations past and the scent of camphor mixing with sea air. Our DNA has traveled through millennia. When we think of memory, we focus on the people we ourselves have known. Grandparents, great aunts, cousins twice removed. Our thoughts tend to be based on personalities, experiences, likes or dislikes. Rosemary asks us to travel beyond those associations to feel for the memory that lives in the twisting threads of our chromosomes. This is what it means to honor our ancestors and to be rooted in our own history. What if your bones are ancient bedrock and your laugh the wild wind? What if you are not only an individual, but the present incarnation of a long lineage? Remember, memory is a complicated thing, a relative to truth, but not its twin. Barbara Kingsolver, Animal Dreams.